Hey, what's up you guys? It's your boy Lars bringing some fresh heat to your screen right now. It's that time of year again. Eurovision is just around the corner, and so I thought I'd assemble a bunch of my friends and come at you with a three-part series. The first one, you're watching right now, will be some kind of interview-based mini-documentary about the Eurovision Song Contest in general, with a few things dabbled in that are specific about this year's competition. As I've just mentioned, I've asked a bunch of my friends to participate, and you're gonna see those throughout the entirety of this three-part series. 2 years ago I did a similar thing in a two-part series with my wife Julia, so she's returning for this series.
So hi, I'm Julia, I'm gay, and I'm the Wifi of LarsHeat too.
And then I have my close friend and Eurovision enthusiast, Hannah, fly in from Ireland specifically to shoot this series with me.
My name's Hannah, also known as MCHannski. You can find me on the internet.
And special guests, Maxi and Giny from YouTube.
Hey everybody, I'm Maxi.
I'm Giny.
And we're from OTOME NO
Timing.
We're not only going to be on here, but actually Lars is coming to our channel as well. So if you want to see more of us and more of Lars in a very different kind of environment, hurry over to our channel and watch our video over there as well.
So what I did is I sat down with all four of them in 3 sessions and asked them a catalog of questions. So I interviewed them on their knowledge, their opinions, and their conceptions of the Eurovision Song Contest. You're not gonna see a lot of me, but you're gonna hear a lot of me, as I'm gonna be mostly behind the camera asking questions. Alrighty, so let's dive right into it. Okay, so the first question is not really a question, it's more of a task. Try to explain the Eurovision Song Contest.
Okay. So it's a competition
Between countries?
European countries
Yes.
and Australia for no particular reason whatsoever.
True.
For who creates the best song each year.
Is it each year?
It's every year, yes.
Okay.
Well, for me, Eurovision is a vision of a united Europe. People who make music come together and they kind of represent Europe in a musical kind of way.
That's all?
Fame
All
and
in?
glory, I don't
yeah,
know.
Of course, of course.
I don't know.
The Eurovision Song Contest is a yearly contest between countries where they do it like the Hunger Games. Where, I don't know, they send their weakest singers to compete and then other countries vote based on their neighbors, which countries they like and occasionally which song's the best. And by that decision they choose which country has to spend a lot of money next year to host this family gathering.
I'm not quite sure, but I think it was created because of some peace kind of thing or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know anything.
Okay, so the next question is a very personal one. How do you feel about the Eurovision Song Contest?
I forget about it 364 days of the year and then it did this again.
I feel that it has become much more popular also for like a younger target group compared to when it was like in the 70s. It was more like for older people. I think it's more common among younger people like us who celebrate this one evening and also like the SemiFinals and stuff like that.
I think it's a nice thing.
Indifferent. I don't really care all that. It's nice, and I think it's nice that people watch it, but I don't really care about it at all.
I recently started watching the Israeli show where they decide who it is. I'm very passionate about that show. And then I'm passionate to see the person that won that show to win the next show. By that I mean the Eurovision.
Like every year there's a song or two that I really like. I just know them from being played on the radio and not because I watched the Eurovision Song Contest.
Great event.
Are there any stereotypes about the Eurovision Song Contest or its viewers?
I think one of the stereotypes is that it's not about the music, but it's about pulling something extraordinary off visually and like to shock the people, like that Norwegian band or what it was that won a couple of years ago. I think it's not about the song, it's not about the music, but it's like who gets the most shock value, kind of.
Because they're all trying to be American for one night only, which I guess we're all trying to become one. I think go back to singing in your own language. I think that's a lot more interesting than let's all sound like the people we hear on the radio, but like the cheap version that you make yourself at home, you know?
I think that over the last years it has become more Eastern European. Well, I was surprised when Russia joined. I don't know when it was, but also Australia, which is not like really Eastern, but you know.
All the Eastern European states, they are never going to vote for like countries like the UK or Germany because they're all giving the points to each other. That's what I heard. I don't know whether that's true, but it's like...
It's not that much known or hyped among heterosexual people. So it's more like a gay thing. When I say gay, I mean male homosexuals. But since I'm a homosexual, yeah, well, I like it as well.
I mean, the people that go there are gay. And the people that vote are sometimes gay too. Or like, I don't know, just biased.
You've already touched on that, but do you have any specific thoughts on non-European countries participating? For instance, Israel, Australia, or Azerbaijan?
On the one hand, I think that it's a very nice sign and a very nice gesture, very nice symbol behind it, no matter where you're from and what kind of music you make. Like, music reunites us all and brings us together, regardless of whether you're part of a European Union or not.
No, I think it's called Eurovision Song Contest, but I mean, if they want to participate and no one has something against it, I'm not the one to say, no, you can't. So,
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
See, I don't understand the whole Australia thing, okay? No. But I know, for example, Israel has problems in their own region. Due to that, they also compete at soccer tournaments in Europe. Not that they actually ever compete because they're never good enough, but they could. So, I don't know. I mean, those are like actual neighbors and they have, you know, cultural similarities with some.
On the other hand, it kind of neglects the thought or abandons it that it's for the European Union or for Europe. I mean, are we talking about Europe, like in that sense, or are we talking about the European Union? So when Australia joined for the, what was it, the 15th anniversary of the ESC,
16th, I think.
16th, I don't know. It was kind of cute, but now they're like a permanent participant. That's weird. I mean, I would like to suggest then United States of America joining, or any other country which is actually not part of that.
I mean, it's true what you say that it originally was supposed to be like a Europe thing, similar to the European Union. It was more of an entertainment thing. It had the same thought as the European Union to kind of unite post-war Europe. Originally, the boundaries of countries that were eligible to participate was about time zones. Who can participate had to be a member of the European Broadcasting Union. It kind of frames like, I think it's 3 or 4 hours of time zones, and if the country falls into that time zone, then they can participate.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which explains countries like Israel and Azerbaijan.
Last time I checked, Australia has a different time zone.
The show is just so popular over in Australia, and several other countries like China, they watch it annually, although they're not participating. With Australia, I think is a different case, because in a way, culturally, one could argue that they are more European than Asian.
Because they're prisoners from the UK?
Yeah,
but they're completely different. They eat crocodile down there.
But that's a cultural aspect, you know? That's just like, okay, that's a different perspective.
But like, where do you draw the line? Who can participate and who can't? Are you gonna be all-inclusive? Can, like you suggested, the United States or any other country, should we just let the entire world participate? Or should it still be Europe-centered? But then what does Europe mean? Is it just geographical, like time zone thing, or is it a cultural thing? And then also culturally, you could argue, is Israel really that European, or Morocco, or like...
When I think of Eurovision, and I think of any country outside of Europe, I think of, like Thailand, China, they just love karaoke. But then again, if Australia wins, do we get Chris Hemsworth to host? Then I'm in.
I think it's only weird with like Australia, which is so far away. But otherwise, I don't care about it actually. I mean, it's not Eurovision Song Contest anymore. It's like a global song contest. But if they keep the context of it, like being let's all get together and make some music, why not? Why not do it globally?
What if we like loosen it a bit, like in terms of Eurovision, but make it a World Vision contest, like a football, a soccer cup, Like you would have different semi-finales and then just select and see who's in the grand final thingy.
There are spin-off versions of the Eurovision Song Contest.
All right. The kiddie contest.
There's a junior Eurovision Song Contest,
Yeah.
which is the same thing, but just for a younger age bracket of participants. The Turkvision Song Contest, which has a very distinct rule of have a country that speaks a Turkic language, but it can also be a large minority. So Germany would be eligible for that because we have a large Turkish-speaking minority. Remember, there was for quite a while a German one, the Bundesvision Song Contest.
Yes.
That was kind of fun. And there's an Asian version in the works with the kind of confusing name Asia Eurovision Song Contest to come around for the first time this year. There's also an African, a Pan-African version that has a different name, but it follows the same kind of rules with a
Vision. It's not quite called Vision.
Afri Music Song Contest. Yeah, so there are like different versions of that.
Okay.
And the idea has been thrown around that one could make like a world vision if every continent had their own kind of what you said. You suggested that every continent has their pre-selection and the number of those get to the grand final for the world. You know, who knows, maybe in a few years.
But in some kind of way it's always like connected to boundaries. You always have boundaries. It's always like categories or boundaries. It always has to do with like single units who are competing against each other. Which is weird if we're talking about Eurovision, and the original idea was to like bring all these countries together and that they in some kind of way represent Europe and what we are, what we have. So it's like a bit of a conflict.
If you go by the original idea, but things might just have changed or shifted. You know. Okay. As most of you have noticed during the reaction part, there are 6 countries that generally don't have to compete in the semifinals. There are the big 5, which are the largest financial contributors to the whole thing, which are Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and the United Kingdom. A further 6th country that does not have to participate in the semifinal but goes through to the grand finale automatically is the previous year's winner and that year's hosting country, which this year is Israel. What are your thoughts on the fact that those 6 countries are through to the grand finale automatically without having to compete in the semifinals?
It sounds kind of unfair if they don't have to show what they got and are just getting into the finals because they're, I don't know, like the big ones.
Everyone should qualify, I think. Especially Germany, we have so many really bad songs each and every year, again and again, because they don't really have to qualify, but they just get in, and then we always get like last spot.
Well, money rules the world, so if you have enough money, you can make it, even though your song is the greatest bullshit. I do understand if people say that's not fair in some kind of way, because they don't have to fight or compete against the others before the grand final.
You can see both sides.
Yeah, both sides. Yeah.
But can you see the point that, oh, we're paying the most money, so we should get some money? You don't? Okay.
I mean, what if another country decides to pay just as much money as those 5? Will they get into it as well?
I don't know, it's a music competition, so I think it's not fair for them to say we'll pay our way into the finals, kinda.
I mean, let's imagine that for sports events or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, whoever pays the most money gets to be in the semifinals of the World Cup or something like that. No one would ever do that, you know?
They pay a lot of money, I don't know how much, and whether it's also like equally.
Every country that is participating has to contribute something, a minimum.
Every country.
Every country that participates.
And the whole competition, or only the grand? Oh, okay.
Which is also like a reason why several countries have not participated in a while or have never participated because they just can't afford it.
But do you have like a number?
I don't think I've come across definite numbers in my research.
But what are they paying for? For the location? I mean, you have a host country basically, and they're...
Yes, the venue, that is where it's taking place, but you also have to travel costs, marketing.
Yeah, sure, security, organizing stuff. Yeah, I totally understand that. They do pay for their own country, right?
What do you mean?
Like Cyprus does not put 1 million into that ESC jar to like...
They have a collective money pot.
Yeah.
Jar. if you will, pay. I couldn't find anything about how much which country contributes. I feel like that should be more transparent. But I'm also still not sure of is what is actually being paid for. The only thing that comes up later in the interviews is the interval act. Madonna this year is getting a ravishing $1.2 million or euros. I'm not even sure of that.
I think everybody should just be automatically in the finale. I don't understand why we choose. I mean, I know it's gonna be a long show, but
It is a long night. Plus the
yeah,
points.
but so are the Oscars.
And they try to cut some.
And look at the backlash there. I'd say saying your native language, and everyone gets to compete.
The next question is about the voting system. So half the votes are from the viewers. There's a televote, as you are familiar with. And the other half is from a professional national judge panel.
Yes.
Originally there was only a judge panel, then they had only televotes, and then they mixed it, and then they went back and so forth. Do you see any advantages or disadvantage of any of these concepts?
I think I find it better the way that there's a professional jury and viewers, because I think when it's just viewers, then they're just calling for maybe they like the most before they even performed. Like if someone have a big fan base, then they're all gonna call and they're gonna win. And the professional judges maybe just
Less biased.
yeah.
That would be
With
nice.
the really music. Yeah.
If that's the way it works, that they are really not biased and they can really approach it from a professional standpoint, then I think I like that.
The past has shown that in terms of having only the televotes, then it depends on who do you know in advance. Which interpret, which singer, which, you know what I mean, so which artist. So it's probably not always very based on the song and on that one performance, but on what has been going on in the past and how famous they've been before that.
I don't want it to just be a jury because that's biased. If it's just the people, I'm fine. If it's the jury and the people, I'm fine.
I think it's pretty fair to have that like hybrid voting system, because as you said, like one part of it is of a judge panel where there are people who are, well, experts in music. Most of them, I mean, it always depends on who's in that. So they can have a different view on it, though I don't know whether they judge or vote on behalf of their own like meaning and thing, or whether they do vote for what Germany might like. In terms of having only a judge panel, I don't think that this would be fair, because it's just not democratic to me. So it's just like 3-4 people who represent the meaning of a whole country, of a whole nation, which would be for Germany like 82-83 million people. This is not fair. This is not a democratic approach. So I think that the current system is actually the best, to have it like 50-50.
Just also to reiterate what you said, you also connect Eurovision to a democratic.
Yes, definitely. Sure.
Yeah.
Because that's part of our union, of our institution.
However, I also would like to know, who are these professionals? Who decided that they are professionals? What makes them professional?
Well, it's not a secret who's the judge panel. It's different people every year. And in Germany has 5 people, and I don't know who chooses them. So it's weird. And I remember, like, in past years, I was confused of the people where I've never heard of, or like people that have just come out with their first album and they're considered a professional in that aspect. But I mean, I guess the institution, like you just said, is kind of to have that like unbiased opinion and kind of mix that into.
But also, that's like 5 people getting 50% in contrast to like 80 million people.
Yeah.
That's also kind of weird. That is unbalanced, I think.
I was there that night, I think it was 2 years ago, when they suddenly switched up the voting. And then they just showed you the points that the audience has voted, but actually announced the points for the judges. Israel gives 12 points to, but you're actually saying the jury of Israel gives 12 points to. So I want them to switch that just around, you know. I don't care what the jury says. I want to hear the people speak. I want to know what Babushka in Russia voted. And who cares what the judge Babushka said? So I think if they switch it up, I'm happy.
something you've also touched upon. Every year there is some controversy that certain countries or blocks of countries are just voting for their neighbors or for each other by political association.
Yeah.
And that is often sensationalized in the press. What do you think about that?
I personally think it should be about the music, and you should vote for who you really find interesting and who you really into the music. But I also think that it's not gonna change, that people are going to vote for their country or their neighbors or like political stance.
With Turkey and Russia rising in some kind of way, we felt like that the Eastern European states gave a lot of points to Russia, which was not always based on rating the song, but rather, as you already said, in the political context to like push Russia.
Although I think these countries, they've been like, I don't want to say brothers, but like they kind of are for years by their same fate, by being prone to like political agendas of like Russia or whatever. It's usually the Eastern Bloc countries, you know. You can't really expect them to not want each other to win.
Obviously, like, if you go to, like, a film festival and it's an audience vote, or you go to elections, you're gonna vote for yourself, or you're gonna vote for your buddy. That's just the way the world works. I don't mind. They're not gonna have 12 neighboring countries, so there you go. Nor are they gonna like every one of them, so I don't care. Be biased.
Sometimes you think, why does that small country with that bullshit contribution does get so many points? That's just not justified.
But also then I think maybe you should do it a bit like The Voice, where you only hear the song and you don't know where it's from, and then you give them points. But I don't know how that's actually possible with like 40 countries. I don't know how that can be pulled off. I don't know, but then it would be a lot less biased, I guess.
So until 2010, I shared that opinion or that impression, but then Germany won with Lena, and I think I always felt like Germany is like discriminated against in some kind of way because of our past, of our historic past. But then my impression has changed. It showed us that like good catchy songs are being rewarded with points.
Every once in a while there's like the odd one out where you're like, wow, Russia actually gave 12 points to Portugal, that's impressive.
Israel won last year. It's also very like, you know, political situation is very tense, but still they won, and the year before it was like Portugal. So I think we'll get more and more into that world or into that mode where people do not vote based on politics, but based on songs and performances.
The question was a bit misleading though, because I kind of gave you the assumption that it is because of political association. Some studies and articles have shown that neighbor voting is more based in similar taste and tradition in music, and not necessarily that you just like your neighbor country or you have more political association to Russia or whatever. Does that make it appear in a different light for you?
I mean, I kind of understand that if people know the music, that they're more likely to like it and to recognize it. Yeah, I mean, as long as they call for them because they like it, then it's
legit,
fine, yeah.
You know.
I mean, if my neighbor eats falafel, I'm gonna vote for him.
Also, I mean, I don't know how much to believe in the studies. I mean, do they ask them, why did you vote for it? Are people really saying yes, political reasons, or yes, because I really like that song, it reminds me of my childhood? I mean, do people really say that? I mean, I don't believe in studies like that.
Good point.
Some contestants have risen to national, for example, Lena Meyer-Landrut,
Yes.
or even international fame. Some examples for that would be ABBA, Celine Dion, or Katrina and the Waves.
Who's Katrina?
Katrina and the Waves, I'm walking on sun.
Oh, okay.
But rarely are big stars chosen to represent their country. Few examples for that would be the No Angels, which is debatable how famous they were at that point. And England has been represented by Blue and Bonnie Tyler, but still they were well-known, established artists. Why do you think are celebrity musicians so reluctant to participate and represent their countries?
Are they?
Maybe because what if they lose? What does it say about them as a professional artist?
Yeah, that could be a point. I mean, they have a lot to lose, right?
At least face.
Because if they lose, it would really suck. Also, I don't think they really take it that serious.
The fear if they don't make it that they will like lose their fame, like all of it. So there's some kind of risk associated to participating in such a very competitive contest. The national press will like be like, oh, only 12 points for like in total, not for this singer or this band, that they will like not like keep that level of fame afterwards because of a very poor performance or whatever.
The No Angels lost, right? I'm pretty sure they did. Germany usually loses, except for Lena.
Yeah, she was a surprise.
Yeah, what does that say about the No Angels? Are they bad as an artist? Do they make bad music? Does the Eurovision Song Contest in Germany need Stefan Raab?
So because you see like the No Angels or Grazia or who else, people that you've seen before in either TV format like casting formats or something like that, when they actually participated, that was when they were like on the downfall of their careers, and that was like, I have nothing to lose anymore, let's just give it a try. That's an opportunity for us or for me to like make it again and to get like a push. But if you are already doing well, why should you go there? I often think about it when like we see like our German contestants this year. I would have rather given money to some, I don't know, famous dude or girl, and then say, okay, go represent Germany this year with a really cool song.
The Eurovision Song Contest reputation is not the best. A lot of people associated with these, like, I don't want to say weird, but like these kind of folk, geeky music kind of people. I don't know, like Helene Fischer or stuff like that. But also, do they get paid? Let's imagine I'm Celine Dion. I want to get some major cash to participate.
Also, I think if you're that famous, like you're world famous, I don't think they have that much national pride.
Sorry that I'm just remembering, it's a German example. If you remember her, Janet Biedermann,
Yeah.
she's been gone for a while, but like between her second or third album, at the peak of her career, she really wanted to represent Germany, but they didn't let her.
She was not even in the Vorentscheid.
Yeah, she was not allowed into that.
But why not?
I don't know.
Because
what
she
you
was
think?
too famous. Maybe they did not want famous people back then.
Maybe they personally just didn't like her music or her, or I don't know. You
Maybe
never know
she's-
what's behind the scenes.
Maybe they
going
want
on.
something that they can consider good quality music instead of bubblegum pop. Then again, who's to decide?
Okay, the last question. During the televote, there's always an interval act, and oftentimes that is an unknown act from either the hosting country or something that represents Eurovision, a former Eurovision winner or participant. And a few years ago, they started to also use international celebrities. A few years ago, that was Justin Timberlake, and this year it's going to be Madonna.
Oh.
Interval act. What are your thoughts on any of these points?
I like Justin Timberlake. I'm not big into Madonna, so
First of all, I didn't know that. I don't know, are they turning it into like some Super Bowl kind of situation? Well, I mean, it's a lot of airtime for them as well and promotion. And I guess Madonna is coming out with something new.
Yeah, I immediately thought like people could watch the contest because they're expecting super famous singer to appear in the intermissions, and maybe they're getting more viewers for the whole contest because they're waiting for it. But I immediately felt like people could just watch it to see their celebrities and stuff, and maybe are not interested in the contest. So
But then why not simply watch the intermission only?
because people, I don't know.
Well, that's cool actually that they're willing to do it.
Probably.
They're probably
Probably.
getting paid, and it's promotion, big time promotion, yeah.
Why not? She's not part of the contest, so neither was Justin Timberlake. So I think it's cool to like keep that attention for people not to switch to a different channel or something like that.
Drop the station, change the channel.
So it's okay. I would not like have like typical Israeli music there. I would be like, so it's a cultural thing, of course, but I would not be that interested. So I would probably switch the channel.
Maybe this is biased speaking because I like Israel and I listen to a lot of their music, but I really would like an Israeli artist because I like them. I'm not gonna say the same for maybe other countries, but I think it's interesting to see like the most popular artists from that country. You could be like, what could have been, but what they presented.
Any particular thoughts that it's specifically Madonna this year?
I've heard that she will have some kind of a comeback with a new album.
Wow, Madonna's still doing stuff. She's never going to stop, is she?
Nope.
I don't know, she's old. I mean, give her a try.
I don't like Madonna. End of quote.
I really haven't paid attention to Madonna since I was in like 7th or 8th grade when she used to be popular.
I'm very excited whether she's going to sing live because she's like not a very live.
She's more of a dancer and performer than
Yeah, she's more like a performer than a singer, so, but that's not... Yeah, but I would check that out definitely. I was excited for the album.
This gay.
That's already all the questions I asked my friends, and I want to publicly thank all of them for participating in this. I don't take it for granted, and you've been good sports, all 4 of you. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is a new format I'm trying out, and I wanted to see if I can pull it off. And if you like it, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll do more of these types of videos in the future. I have 2 more installments in this Eurovision series. The next one in a few days will be the same people and myself. I'll be on screen again, reacting to all contestants this year. And then we have a 3rd one where we're trying to curate a winner. And I'm really looking forward to that. Stay tuned for that, and in order to not miss out on any of that, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments section below how I'm doing with this new type of videos that I'm trying. And I still don't have an outro, so goodbye.